Welcome to the We Speak Tangent podcast, where we speak to neurodivergent entrepreneurs.
Hello folks, welcome to this week's edition of We Speak Tangent. I'm Michael.
I'm James.
And this week we are joined by McMac Creations.
Hello, I'm Chloe.
I'm Alex.
Perfect. They introduced themselves. This is brilliant. So viewers or listeners of the podcast will already have heard of McMac Creations because our previous guest from the archive, Mark Timmins, if I remember his name correctly, sorry Mark, I know I've met you recently, but my memory is gone. They had a New Start program, is that right?
Yeah.
So that's where we first heard of McMac. So I was wondering, how did McMac Creations come to be?
Do you want to take this one?
It's a great question. There's lots of stories to that.
So the main start, Alex is doing fashion at uni, and she really likes creative things. She needs you
I just like making things.
That's
Sorry.
all right.
Wait, I'll take a break so that you can edit that bit out.
Okay.
Would you like the question again? No. Okay, this is fine. Okay, I'll lead in. So how did McMac come to be? How did it begin?
So for me, it was my nana. She got me into embroidery. We'd went into a little shop down the road, Fun to Do it's called, and we went in there and she got me a little cross stitch pack. I had really bad anxiety and obviously feeling overwhelmed a lot. I needed some sort of activity to keep me busy.
Mm-hmm.
So Nana got me this little kit. I tried cross stitch, but I'm too precise. So I ran out of thread and I was like, well shit, I've only got half a meerkat. So I tried embroidery. When I was Googling and going on Instagram, I found all these different things that were like, this new thing, embroidery. And I was like, oh, what's that? Oh, they're funky jeans. She done that herself. So I got a couple of kits on Amazon and I tried them out and I was absolutely in love. I loved it. It was like I found a purpose, being creative like that.
So what, as somebody that doesn't cross-stitch, every time I do these podcasts, I go, I know very little, but it's a learning process. So what is it about, because it's very focused, like you had a little cross-stitch type thing in the pre-meeting.
Yeah.
So is it an attention diversion for you?
Do you know?
What makes it fun for you?
So for me, it's the colours, all the different colours that I can be creative with. So I've never been able to paint because again I'm too precise, but with stitching I can undo a stitch, I can redo it, I can make it as perfect as I can possibly do it. So for me it's being able to have that perfectionist side of me, what's the word? Satisfied?
Yeah.
So it satisfies my need to create whilst also not being scared of messing it up.
Yeah, I totally, when you said about the colours there, I'm right on your wavelength for that. I paint, and I paint with those colours for that reason. And while you were sitting doing that, it's funny we are actually talking about this because my paint set has only 6 colours used in it and there's 68 paint in it.
That is crazy.
So the colours are really important and I often think, am I chasing the dopamine? Am I doing? But I'm just doing. I'm just doing it and then all of a sudden it's there. Yeah. So it's like a soothing kind of thing.
But from the 6 colours, can you create, sorry, I'm straight to the numbers, from the 6 colours, can you create different colours?
Oh yeah.
Right, there you go. Right, okay.
No, because I'm also colourblind.
Oh, so you don't know?
Some of them I do. It's not that advanced
Colour
or
by number
colourblind, but there is
always.
so mixing colours.
Yeah.
Aye, it really does. It's mental.
Yeah.
Aye. But I now have somebody who uses the opposite colours, so I just pass them on my paint palette.
And this is why I watch sport. It's the responsibility of, for me, I guess it's the responsibility of trying to be perfect. I'm just like, no, I'd rather just watch something.
So sorry, Michael.
Yeah,
while we're saying that, I'm interested in you'll notice I just file them because it comes into my head. Where did the name come from? I'm really all about names.
Oh yeah. So
the name of business.
Do you want me to talk about my side of why?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Let's complete the question.
So my side of McMac is because I'm at uni, I'm in 4th year at the moment, and I started in fashion design initially, so like sewing, making patterns, designing it, and then I discovered that it was just quite too stressful in an industrial atmosphere. I like sewing as like a hobby. And then I switched over to fashion branding and promotion, which taught me how to run a fashion business, and how to manage it, how to do events and everything. And so that McMac on the business side of things is like, we always get people that are like, oh, we can help you with your website and your operations. And I'm like, no, this is my project.
Good for
This
you.
this is for my development.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's that, and I've
Yeah.
also just been an artist all my life. I love making and doing. Yeah, I have to always be busy. I have to keep my brain stimulated, and I jump between like crochet and jewellery and sewing and resin and painting and
For both of us as well, it was like kind of we couldn't deal with a workplace environment. Like if we needed a minute, there was nobody really, and there was people that understood us, don't get us wrong, there was always someone that understood us. But workplace as a whole doesn't
The system
understand.
doesn't understand
Yeah,
us.
it doesn't understand mental health, neurodiversity, meltdowns. Like so we were like, right, well, this isn't a want anymore. It's like we need to be self-employed. Like we have got all the ideas, we know what we want, just how do we do it? So that's where we found Saucy, and that's how McMac came to be. And the name McMac Creations is our surnames, McGurk and McLeod, and we love to create.
Nice, man.
Do you know what's very strange though, is it was all because of The Sims 4.
What's that? Oh, the game?
Yeah, so I made
It's
me
an
and
obsession.
Alex obsession for
Right.
both of us now as well, like not just me anymore. But yeah, we both like were in The Sims and we had kids, and we were both like, so who's changing their name then? And I was like, do you know what, the kids are just getting called McMac, a bit of both.
McMac 1.
Yeah, McMac 1, McMac 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, McMac, that's quite funky.
Yeah.
And then for ages, like months, this wasn't even a plan yet that we were making the business, but I was like, McMac Designs, McMac Creations. And I was making all these things on my phone, and I was
And
like,
I'm thinking like, oh, in the future we could do like McMac consultancy and like
Yes,
this and that.
absolutely.
And it can be
Yeah,
branching.
yeah,
I mean,
branching out.
So I'm not surprised at that at all, actually, because as an education tool, The Sims has been used to try and let's see if I can put this in a politically correct way. It's been used as an education tool to make sure that people eat, to make sure that people.
Yeah.
It's like the Tamagotchi for our. If you can be
Totally.
responsible for. No, I'm being completely genuine.
No, yeah.
It's been used as because I remember there was at our school there was classes on how just to make like tick boxes and how to make sure that you've eaten, that you have a skill, that you can do something, communication, and that's. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. But you are the first person on this platform to mention that particular game and
I love it.
the impact it has. Everybody plays it differently. For me, I just when it comes to The Sims, I want people to read all the books and then just make a lot of money. Like I don't care about how you are emotionally. Just get on with it. But that's and how long has McMac Creations been a thing?
Since the 6th of November last year. So we are over 1 year old now.
Well done.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I'm quite tall for a 1 year old.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting when you say that. You know, I'm quiet. When I'm quiet, it means I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like usually the first creatives I've met that actually resonate with me. My name is also in my company, but the fact that you said you do everything. That's fascinating for me. I until I met these guys, there was like I had no neurodivergent creatives in order for me to go with, because I was quite as I always say, out in the wild, but you know, it was just me. So to meet yous and these are just saying stuff that I think is like, how do you put it together? Does it clash? That's what I'm trying to ask with the two.
Occasionally.
Aye.
Occasionally we can clash.
Yeah, but it's in a fun way. if that makes sense.
Yeah, something about the organised chaos of all our workspaces and that we just know what we're doing. I think we really clash with each other.
Oh yeah,
But
we never
when
clash with
we-
each other, it's the work.
Yeah, when we're stressed about the work, we can be a bit like, well, just ask me to do it. You know,
it's working.
I'm like, I will do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we take on too much and then trying to help each other take on more.
Yeah. But we do have a
Because
system for
Yeah.
that. We do have a system. So, for example, we'll use your uni project actually. Alex was doing a poster for her amazing survey that I was mentioning earlier to you guys. And she was like, it's what I want, but it's just not quite right. So I, a different pair of eyes, was like, oh, I really like that. Have you thought about doing this? And then Alex was like, do you know, I never actually thought of that. And then when she was able to unlock that creative discovery, she was like, hold on, I can do this. I can do
it was
this.
actually the same with maybe yesterday or the day before. We were doing an order for someone, and Chloe had the exact idea. She knew what she wanted to do,
So
and she
stuck,
was
but I
embroidering
knew.
it. But it needed like a background, and then another thing just needed kind of designed, and she didn't really know what to do with it. So I got my iPad out and I drew up them, and we worked together. And I said, how about this? How about that? What about these brushes? And I used my like painterness, but Chloe had the idea, so we really worked together really well with our different
Probably
skills.
with the dynamics,
Yeah.
you know, because for other people, the reason why I asked that question is like, for me, I would have to rely on social media because I'd just have to do it and fire it out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's out there, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
But you can see the dynamics when the two of you saw, and that's why I was asking.
Yeah,
It's like, so, I mean, I've got to lead into another question.
Yeah,
It's just
sure.
in my head and I can't
Yeah,
help
yeah.
it. But so your neurodivergency, we've not touched on that just yet. I imagine that Michael will. But
Yeah.
how does
Eventually. Yeah.
we'll get there. But how does that dynamics work with, if you can explain it in terms, how does it work with the both of you? Does it enhance
So I'm going to be annoying and ask you to rephrase that just
Right.
because I don't.
Would you like me to?
I didn't get it. But
Yes.
it's just my brain. I
No.
don't get
it?
something.
Well, so like the
sometimes.
both of you, like how does your neurodivergency work as a pattern with the both of you together?
So that's also quite a difficult one because it's like we feel like we're both the only people that fully understand each other. So it's like having that safe person really helps, but especially when she is neurodivergent as well. Because then when she's having a moment and she doesn't want to talk about it, I can tell. When I'm having a moment and I don't want to talk about it, she can tell. So like when we're working, if we've got an overwhelming amount, like we do that, of course we do. We're neurodivergent. Like we'll have a deadline, we'll get it all done. But we've now, as of last week, have started, like, we're not taking any orders after this date, so that we can get it all done, so that we can relax a bit. But also, it's like the rush of the work gives us that motivation to do it.
Yeah, I would say though, speaking of the rush of the work, we both do that very differently.
Yeah.
Because I
100%.
just am an ADHD nightmare and have zero patience. And Chloe's obviously got both ADHD and autism. Sometimes she's like, I need to do my process, don't rush me. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to not rush you? And I'm like, I've done everything and I do everything like 5 things at a time, like times 10 and speak it times 10. And I'm like, are you done yet? Like, come on. It's only that, I think, my impatience.
And I'm sat there like, just one more pop.
And you know, the reason why I asked that is because, you know, there's two of you doing that, but I think dead fast, you know, but I've never had two people sitting next to me that work in a synergy like that. So it's like your company's quite new, but you are bringing it together so that he's come together and the synergy, the fact is that both of you know the boundaries of what you are doing and can help each other. I'm jealous, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why have I not got something like that? But you know, when a business is new, it's tough, but you didn't make it sound tough.
It's really good as well when we can both pick up each other's skills. So when I'm going at 100 miles an hour, I love like running the behind the scenes of the business and keeping everything going and on its feet. And Chloe's really good at speaking to people.
Like the
more
networking.
social than she is. But if Chloe's not feeling good, I can go and reply to all the messages. If I'm not available or something, I can say, oh, here's logins, here's where you go. And we kind of know exactly what we're thinking and what the idea is with each other, so we can kind of slot into each other's like roles quite easily. But
I do quite a lot of the social media things, like the posts. Like we both do equal, but I do
good
more
at Facebook and I'm good at TikTok.
Yeah, I was going to say I do more Facebook because, like, for my age, I am absolutely a Facebook mom.
100%.
Like, oh my God, I'm always on Facebook.
I'm really sorry, a Facebook what?
What's a Facebook
Facebook
mall?
Facebook Ma.
We're old, man. What's a
Oh,
Facebook
now
mall?
how do we describe a Facebook?
I'm a Facebook granddad. I'm feeling
Have you
nice.
ever
I'm
seen,
feeling
Oh,
like,
sorry,
have
like
you
a
ever seen,
Facebook
like,
mum.
Yeah,
Oh,
those mums that
sorry.
are just always posting.
I'm
like,
English, I do apologise. What did you just say?
My son's on his first day in school, and then it'll be lunchtime, and they'll be like, he's no well, like updating every bit of their life, and you're like, honestly,
Yeah,
come
like
on,
the
who
other
cares?
year I tripped over a Christmas tree and I was like, oh, who left the Christmas tree in the hallway? And Alex was like, why?
Why are you posting
I was like,
a
I
photo of your
don't
foot on
know.
Facebook? Like,
I was like, I don't know. Like, why
was
did I
like,
do that?
How do you have the confidence to just take a photo of your
The
foot
youth
and
of
upload it
today
on
need
Facebook?
Listen,
work,
what?
I find.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on, I cropped out my toes.
That's
Just
the
saying.
important one.
But yeah, it's mad because, like, yeah, we both, like, are neurodivergent. Like, it's, I don't like saying it's a superpower, but in a way
I do love
it
it.
can be, because, like, I get to the certain point where I start, like, almost hallucinating things as a video game. So I feel like the film Free guy, you know, he's, like, in this video game, he puts on his glasses and he's like, wait, I'm not supposed to see this. That's how I feel. Like, sometimes I do my embroidery and it could be, like, the weirdest, wiggliest shape. And I've obviously, my stitching, I'm doing, like, little lines. So I can look at it and then sometimes I'll see exactly where to put, like, I can see invisible circles exactly where I need to thread.
It's hyper-focus.
Have you ever seen The Good Doctor?
Yeah.
How he, when he sees a patient and
Yeah.
there's symptoms, it all pops
It
up in his
follows,
head, like
aye.
what he needs to do, where he needs to go, who he needs to call.
Yeah, I mean,
Similar.
I've always said that hyper focus. Where, I mean, we've had discussions like this with other people on this podcast, but it is a feel like hyper focus can make you do ridiculous things.
Anything,
But
yeah.
it's the
Crazy.
idea of being in that space, and without getting too sort of mental healthy. If you are at that sort of fight or flight thing,
Oh, definitely.
where there's a clear fork in the road, if you like, there isn't a clearer mindset in the world. Now, I'm not an advocate that everybody should try it, because no, but it's that thing of if you're in a hyperfocus or you're in a fight or flight, and you have to go one way or the other, your mind is clear, and it's that thing of it could be embroidery, it could be life, it could be a driving test. You're zooming in on it to such an extent that the world outside doesn't matter. So in that sense, it is, and I also am not a massive fan of the superpower thing, because if it was a superpower, we could take it off occasionally and just rest it.
You wouldn't have to wait until the day before the deadline to switch hyperfocus on.
Like, if you could just take off your cape, chuck it down and just...
I'd be looking for a phone
That's
box
super
pretty
cool.
much. Yeah, but
Well, thingy's got one.
it's full of stuff, Mark.
He's got a
Yeah. But
He's got a phone
yes.
box.
Watch the podcast. It's all there.
It's there.
But no. So hyperfocus is a thing, and I think for me, what you've said is, I mean, what I was going to say was that whole answer to that question. That's a young person answer. That is a young person. It's a very old-fashioned way of doing it because you're relying on each other's thought process and skill, whereas we're all like, AI will do this, something else will do
Don't
that.
start me. That's what my honours project's on.
No, but that's what that sounds like to me. Like if I can't do it, then I'll ask somebody else, and we'll rely on their skill to get to a point where if they're not ADHDing or having a moment or a meltdown, like we'll rely on their skill and we'll wait. That's patience. In whatever context. Whereas I have probably not as much patience as you, so I'm just like I want it done now.
Oh, same. not a patient person by
No.
any means, but this is why I jump between all my projects.
Mm.
Like
Do you ever get anything done though? If you jump between all the projects?
Oh, I do, because
Okay,
I
good.
love
She
being
gets
in-
more done at.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
move like from room to room with the
Mhm.
different projects, so that I have to put my
Yeah.
whole brain in a new gear
Yeah,
to be
I
like,
get
all
that.
right, we're doing this now.
Yeah,
But
think-
also the
Sorry.
good thing with McMac is that we can kind of chop and change
Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
do. Like I was doing crochet for a while, and now I'm like, I don't have the patience for it. I'm like, I cannot sit there and do the exact same thing. I don't like it anymore.
Yeah.
But
Whereas
next
if we
year I
get
will
an
like it.
order, if we get an order, she totally flips her mind. She's like,
I'm like, right, I
This
can
is
do this.
from
I've got a
McMac.
task. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
that focus. So just before we break into the first part, we've spoke about who you are and how long it's been. What do you actually do?
everything.
That's the dad question. I'm turning into you're very nice people. What do you actually do?
So we learn. We learn.
That's not a business.
No, but
That's what my family said.
we learn and we create and
Yes.
we take whatever we can from that
Hmm.
and we try and be as personalizable as possible so that people can feel like, so we want to be able to be a company that folk feel seen and heard and feel like they have someone in their wee corner that kind of understands them whilst also being able to buy a little product or come
Right.
in.
Okay. So if I'm ordering something from you,
Oh,
what
sorry.
am I ordering?
So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Synergy.
I mix,
I know.
yeah.
Boom.
We've got a
Yeah.
mixture of like gifts, accessories. Like Chloe does embroidered wall pieces. I paint.
How do you embroider a wall? Oh, sorry, wall pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So an embroidery hook.
You're there for a long time. Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
do also vinyl printing on anything really, glassware, clothes, a lot of things.
Okay.
We really like
Come into
that
the website
people
soon.
can just kind of approach us and be like, hey, I know we've not seen this on your website, but do you do this? Could you do this? And
Yeah.
we're like, absolutely, let us try.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a new thing for our website. So
Okay.
we're always learning and evolving.
We're
And
not scared to try
But
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
mostly accessories and gifts and home stuff.
yeah, so the main thing on our website is embroidery and jewellery.
Okay.
So Alex does craft the jewellery using is it sterling silver? Sterling silver wire stuff.
Or
Don't know why I'm
Oh.
saying
stainless
I have no idea.
steel.
And
Okay.
yeah, so she makes little jewellery and she makes charms and then she'll get like a rope necklace and she'll put little charms on it or she'll make her own charms, put them on, or she'll
Gotcha.
make one of the little charms that we've got into a clasp charm so that we can make like charm bracelets.
Intricate stuff.
We've got something
Yeah.
called the Chaos Necklace on our website, which is just
every
randomised
charm.
beads picked up, made into a charm, and it's just chaos.
Mhm.
If you don't like it, you can always message us and be like, we don't like that
I
charm.
want it to be tiny.
Yeah.
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 We're
Okay.
also going to a
And-
couple of silversmithing classes in the
Yeah.
next few months
Nice
to
one.
actually develop those skills.
Yeah.
because that's
Fair
my
play.
That's a
favourite.
big thing,
Yeah.
silver stuff now.
I love
It's
it.
fascinating to watch.
There's also
Yeah.
money in it.
It's
Yes.
as intricate as glass making.
Mm.
It's how it's been compared to. And
I
it's
am
fascinating. isn't it?
desperate. I'm desperate to learn how to make a stained glass piece, even if it's just
Oh,
like
don't,
something.
don't. No, I know. That's. I mean, do. But I mean, it's the equipment and the. Oh.
Yeah.
Also, take a set of headphones.
Yes.
To see that noise.
Yeah,
click,
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
clink.
Yes,
Oh.
you don't want to break glass
Aye.
professionally.
No,
Yeah,
glass,
my
no.
God.
Get
I
a
know.
loop earbuds and
Yeah.
get them in.
I've got
It's
some,
worth
I'll
it.
get them
We've
out.
actually
It's
got
worth
about
it.
20. You find one loop in a random corner and you're like, is this, did you
Whose
need
is
this?
this?
Like,
Yeah, no, it's very. I have had friends that used to do stained glass, and it's painful to watch
Oh, yeah,
because you
no.
are literally there with them. It's lovely when it's
Aye,
finished.
yeah,
I'm not
no,
talking
The
about
thing is,
that.
I've got
Yeah.
the patience. Like, I'm
Yeah.
one of those weirdos that has no patience for little things.
Join the club.
No patience. But see, when it comes to something like crafting,
Yeah.
But that's because
Slow
it's
motion.
task based. That's what that is.
yeah.
So I'm going to put you in touch with stained glass people that they
Amazing.
can do that, and I'll just have a coffee. But I think that's a good place to break for part one. So
Amazing.
please join us in part two, where we talk more about the people behind McMac Creations, because we've actually done the business bit first. It's taken us how many podcasts to do that?
That's me. That's me.
Yeah.
It's in the
all
head
James.
it comes out. So
Yeah. So please join us in part 2. Welcome back to part 2 of We Speak Tangent. We are here with McMac Creations. So, where do you think Mystic Michael is coming out now? Where do you envision the business going, and what support do you think that you could access?
And my future goal. We're hoping to eventually expand, like kind of branch out McMac into like designing. Chloe does graphic design. I do I'm hoping to do brand consultancy and stuff. And we're hoping to branch out over Scotland. And really our next step is a studio space.
Yeah.
Because we're bursting at the seams at the moment.
Our house is so incredibly stressful. Our living room, so we've got a desk at each side, and then we've got our living room like in the slither in the middle. And it's just constant like boxes coming out full of our McMac stuff. So when we work, it's just like it clouds life. So there's no really like a work-life balance in the living room. So our next step is absolutely to find some sort of little office.
Just a studio space. Just to be creative.
Just somewhere that we can keep our things, we can have access to it all the time. Like my granny has a shipping container. I said to my mum, I was like, so how big is it? And my mum was like, it's got no electricity.
That's so delightfully random.
Well, she's in a care home.
No, but my gran has like a packet of Werther's Originals. Yours has a shipping container. I mean, what? Okay,
Each
right.
to their own.
I know, yeah. Well, some of us have done well, obviously. Yeah.
No, so Granny, she got moved into a care home and her whole entire house was in my mum's house. So my mum was like, I need to get her a container to put her house in. Like all her things that are special. Do you know what I mean? Like nothing that's getting chucked out. But if I Tetrised it, if I done that IKEA man thing, where you fit everything in the boot and nobody else can do. Yeah, I can do that. So it's that kind of thing. It's just like, I feel like we could fit in there, but it's got no electricity, so that's not an option.
It's more storage space than studio space. We need a workshop.
But do you know what I like about this? You're actually, it doesn't matter about the electricity you're saying there. It's the fact is that you're willing to go to any lengths to move your business on, to find somewhere.
Yeah,
That's the inspiration that we're talking about. So it's like, you've just touched on something that I was like, nearly in the first half, like, we had a wee chat off air, and this is why I was asking these. These are young, these are entrepreneurs, your business is there, it's in the faces, these are doing it. That's inspirational, that's what people want to hear, people want to see. It doesn't matter if you do it for a container, you do it for your back garden, you do it for whoever. That's where you're at. That's the inspiration that people need to hear. And you're neurodivergent, it's like, that's the stuff I like to hear. Our company, and it's not about me because I'm going to pass it over to you, but it's like, my company has inspired to be inspired. That is our motto. What you just said there is the reason why inspired to be inspired. I will leave here and I will go home to my home studio where it's got everything packed into it, and my living room is the only bit that's tidy, because you have inspired something. That's the idea there, creatives and creatives get together. So what would an ideal space look? I'm getting excited. I'm getting this is what happens when you put neurodivergence in a room. It's like,
I know, it's so exciting.
Let me slow it down a wee bit for me. Right. What does
1, 2,
that's
3.
what I'm needing. What does the ideal space from McMac look like? What's the needs and demands and what you would actually need for you?
So is this like the first edition, or is this like my seventh?
Just whatever. What goes next? I mean, what
Just
would you?
need a little studio workshop right now. Honestly, not even that big of a space. We're not using that big of a space right now.
Do you know what I've been looking at a lot actually is the shop fronts in the towns. So there's been loads of empty shops. I'm like, I've seen that be 5 businesses and fail. But I know that if we were just using our money to pay for the space, we can do an occasional pop-up shop. We can do products that we've made that we just want to show off in our window while using that as our office, Do you know what I mean? So we would be in there to use it as our space, just a little shop-looking thing. Do you
Why
know?
use your money though? If somebody's
yeah.
listening and they could actually give you it, it's like
If only.
there's a reason why now is the most important part of what neurodivergence is all about.
Yeah.
There's also, the thing is, there's a reason why we're mostly an online business, is that we love to do the market pop-ups, but to have a storefront is, I feel at this point, way too much pressure, and we need a studio because we are making everything great, but I feel like for the online shop, which is where we need to progress in, we could increase operations and efficiency by hundreds before we even get to the storefront.
I think you're right. I think it's wonderful to be ambitious, but this is something that I have said almost forever, in that I'm from the north of England. I was one of the first to see the high streets go. And actually, you need the footfall. I mean, where I used to live in Redcar, we have our own brand of tumbleweed. I mean, nobody goes, nobody cares. There is pictures in what used to be thriving shops, and I think it would be crass of me. I want to support you 100%, but what I also don't want to do is set you up to fail. And I think you're right.
It's
I think
unrealistic at this point.
Well, no, I mean it is, but I mean what I will say is that massive corporations are struggling to make money on the high street. So I think the pop-up shop's a wonderful idea because you can do it without the risk.
That's why we loved New Start. We absolutely loved
Hashtag
that.
Mark. Yeah, you can do it without the risk. You can turn
do
up.
it without Mark. That New Start, the pop-up shop that they hosted and that we were guests at, it was amazing. It was so good to see all the people actually like come in and feel interested and ask us questions. And even if they weren't buying anything, just their interest was enough for us to be like, it's worth it.
It
And
matters.
like it's just so exciting because when you're at a market with loads of different stalls, everyone just kind of walks past you in pity. They're like,
You've been to the wrong market.
It's really
I get that.
frustrating.
I totally get that.
like even if they like your things, there's something there
Yeah.
for. They're not there for you. And as much as it's exciting being at a big market and to make sales, it's also like for me personally, it kind of crushes me a little bit because I'm like, I've put in all this work for people just to
Pass it by.
and just give it a wee glance, like because we are small. We've not got all big flashy things. We've not got tons of stock.
That is also why I like doing kind of one-off pieces at
Yes.
markets, because
Unique.
if people think they know what we do, they'll walk past us and be like, oh, wait, that's new. That's not on the website. I like the exclusivity of markets, and that we usually sell most of what we have because it's quite exclusive to the market, because I'll just make it beforehand. But we would love to go to more markets even. I've just
think
had
as
mad
well though,
exams
it's
this
like
year.
so your commercial stuff is alright, but it doesn't give you the creativeness. Because I had to go down that route, and it isn't as easy as what they pan it out to be. It does keep you going, but the creative and trying to force yourself to do something, you're like, by the way, I'll still take a sale if anybody's listening to commercial stuff. But that whole it takes away the
There's a lack of pace.
it takes away the fun part because you're creating it. You're
And it
creating
takes away
it,
the soul
McMac's
of the
creating
whole
it
thing.
because you're creating
But-
it in the world.
But it's the neurodivergent thing.
Yeah.
So
Click, 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 click.
if you present a market to me, but then again, my folks were legendary when it comes to. I mean, if there was there you go, and it's the pace thing. If you're brought up with it, that's like utopia. That's like, I can make money, I can do it, I can do my bit. That's fine. If you're not, that's why. And we had this chat with Mark. That's why Mark's New Start exists. Because now the landscape is changing. Because now that we're talking about mental health, neurodivergence, etc., 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 you're not going to be that shouty person at the market fighting for that sale. The landscape has completely changed. It's went online. It's went less person to person. And you've actually found that by doing it. But you've also, you've found where the market is at the moment. And that doesn't mean that it can't change. But I think the pop-up shop is a wonderful idea, and it's something that it's something that almost every organisation I'm involved in, I'm plugging that gap. I'm like, we need to do that because you're going to get more sales from that 2 or 3 day run than you probably are in in I don't know, a month, 2 months, 6 months of a storefront.
You can hype it up more.
And you can tour it as well.
Yeah.
So,
and even that though, when you're saying that, it would be good if you could get a shop for 30-day trial of somebody, you know.
Absolutely.
Because that would give you the scare factor to go, we're definitely not ready. It sounds as if you're only scared to try that. And then all of a sudden you'd be like, because I've sat in a shop, and we've had a shop, and it's like, that's not for me.
Well, the thing is
People
we
coming
don't
in.
want a shop. Like, that's not what we want. We just want a shop-style place as our office. Like, I want, like, for our first...
a nice cafe.
Yeah.
That's
like,
just my vision now.
My,
Sorry, right, okay.
my ideal for our first is a little empty shop, right? And we don't want it as a shop as such. We want it as our office. But I'd like to be able to see what's going on in the town. I'd like to be
Nothing.
in the town.
Nothing's going on in the town.
Come on, Michael.
Another shop gets shut down. Charlie shop got robbed again.
I thought we covered that point. Yeah.
Maybe the inverse of that.
Yeah.
Like, the people walking past can see and
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's more interesting.
I like that
but
because it
it's
is a
kind of
dream.
like when
Yeah.
you go to a restaurant and you can see them cooking for you. Like,
Yeah.
it's authentic and you can see people making it. It's not like you
Exactly.
order it off Temu and
And
3
why
weeks
do
later
they-
you're
Oh, I hate
63
that.
When you
pence.
go to a
and print
restaurant,
comes.
they put you at the window seat so people see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I get that.
Yeah, so basically it'll be like a hold that window shopping idea.
Yeah.
So like we'll be in the town, we'll be like easy to access anywhere that we want to go. So like if we need something to eat, we're in the town.
Yeah.
If we need to stretch our legs, we're in the town, and it doesn't close us in the house as such. Like last week I was in the house quite a lot because up to Christmas we're really lucky to say we've got quite a few orders this year. So it's been like non-stop, but it's been a good non-stop because I've still been going to gala and like going to my mum's house, doing embroidery there or whatever. So that's been good, but with this whole idea that I've got in my head about like a little shop front is just the fact that we'll have our own space, but we've got the creative freedom. So like I would spend our own money on that, not McMac's money, our money first, because I feel like that's a really smart investment to get a place like that. But obviously, if it was able to come for free, then...
So what, so on that, what support would you need? Because again, like, it's that thing of, it's, and I get it, it's the commitment of, it's what you said, this is our thing, this is my thing, we don't need this.
Yeah,
But
we definitely do need support. Yeah.
So what would that, and I'm also like, it's your money, do what you want, but if there's other ways to do it, use those. So what support would you need? Because it's utilities, it's rent, you've got to make so many sales to and I'm not talking you out of it. I'm just saying.
No, but especially
like,
with a studio where we're doing silversmithing and stuff like that, the electricity for that is crazy, And I think even more, I'm going back to it needs to be a studio, not a store. Because I feel like when we're in this moving around part at first, it's hard to identify a brand that keeps, like, if you have somewhere that you can go in, if they keep moving about, you're kind of like, where did they go? But if we have a little private studio, I feel... But I don't even know
I'm
for
also
a private
terrified
studio.
of burglars, so I couldn't have a shop for a while.
It's a very specific burglar.
Oh,
it's a very specific burglar. I'm here to...
Crafties, I see.
I'm here to steal a bracelet. I will be out the building soon.
No, I'm so scared. So until we can afford security cameras, we can't.
100%.
Yeah, you have to feel safe in the environment.
But that should come with the lease, I would have thought.
But there's just a lot about, I think we probably just need help connecting a bit of the digital to the physical. And the...
Again, that's a young person thing. We need help connecting the digital to the physical.
We have many digital skills, but we're like, like some digital skills though don't come as easy. I know everyone's like, oh, Gen Z, they're digital natives and they know everything, but I'm behind the scenes on this website, like, what is a DNS? How do I fix this domain? How do I get a security certificate so that the HTTP is secure and doesn't say it's a dangerous website? Oh my God.
You've just disconnected me, I'm out.
Exactly. That's what it is though.
Error 404.
Yeah, that's
Buffering.
Because you go from speaking to someone and introducing them to your business and your life to being like, oh, this is our website. And then they're like, oh, but it doesn't come up as McMac, and it's like, because it's redirecting to a different domain, and like the DNS isn't secure, and I'm like, how do I explain this to a customer where I can't just say like, sorry, we're really bad at our website.
But that's the
like,
web support.
It's specific things like that.
Do you know what's interesting, right? And my head's full of all sorts, but McMac's like a wee Lego box right now. And this is what I was talking about. I like that. People need to hear this. The wee Lego box of McMac, and you're taking it out and you're building it up.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
That is exactly what I mean when you're asking what we do as McMac. We learn, and that is our business, because we learn, and through that learning we build on our skill sets, we build our product base, we build our customers. Like, everything stems from that learning, and when we aren't learning something new creatively, we get a bit like riled up. Like, it's like it's a full-on good outlet, and it makes us feel so good. And see, this business, like, since we've started it, we've both felt accomplished. Like, we feel like, even if we're not making money, that's not the point. We want to make products.
You've got to eat. Yeah.
We do.
When
we are making money now,
when-
which is great.
When we have learned as well, it can be quite frustrating if we don't have the resources. But like, we have the education. Like, I've got an education in photography and videography, but I don't have a green screen. I don't have this. I've got the camera.
I've got
but
green
like,
screen.
but like, if we wanted to branch out and do like McMac photography or something, that's a whole set of resources that we need to get. But that I've got the knowledge for, and it's like an itch that I'm like, I can't actually quite do this shit. But
Basically, what we need
there.
support on is getting from where we are now to what we want way in the future, but figuring out how to do it bit by bit. Figuring out how to make a time lapse, like a timeline, like figuring out when, like, I think we're ready now,
Like,
because of the living room.
Now.
Yeah, because of the living room situation, I feel like now is the time. Like, we need an office. Come on, like, I need my couch.
Yeah.
Come on,
Doctor
please.
Strange,
We're
make
also-
this happen.
Anybody listening, please, I need my couch.
Wow.
It's at quite a young stage though as well, where we're still moving about quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be graduating uni next year, and I'm obviously going to need a grad job while we start this, because you need some kind of income. And that's quite stressful, because I'm kind of in the emotional roller coaster of interviews, and I might live here and I might live there, and it might be a different country, but like, we need a place now. So do we go there, and do we follow McMac, or do we follow a grad job? Like,
Well, I think
All the way.
Wherever we go, like,
McMac goes with you.
it does, but there's also a great deal of planning that quite stresses me out, that I can't plan for
that's why it's
the year
good that there's
ahead.
both of us.
That's how self-employed
stressed
also
out.
comes with its bonuses as well. These were saying, you know, as a neurodivergent, it works in your own thing. But I want to ask you another question, and it is quite personal, but it's needed. We've asked this many a time. It's like, what do you do for chill time? How do you use for personal time away?
How do you switch off?
How do you switch off? Thanks. I was dragging that out.
Yeah.
Sims 4.
I go to the gym.
Right.
Yeah.
Very big gym buff over here.
Gym lad.
So just what do you do for you? Do you go as a couple? Because the reason I'm asking that, you work together, and it sounds as if it's amazing and magic, and I'm all about the magic. What do you do even after that?
For both of us, or separate?
Either one.
So, as Alex says, for her, the gym. For me, it's The Sims or reading.
Fabulous.
I quite like. I never. I used to read a lot when I was little, but I never understood the words, and I'd skip pages because it would stress me out. Then I stopped reading, and I could only at that point I could only read like Jacqueline Wilson and say 50 out of 100 pages of Agatha Christie. So somehow I was obsessed with her at age 8. And
random.
Poirot, oh my guy. And it was all crazy. Like, I couldn't really read. And then last year, son just kind of switched in me, and I was like, I really want to get into reading again. And then I started consciously either reading on past the word that was stressing me out, and then being like, so it explains it actually if you read further. Or I was going and I actually was figuring out what the word meant, going back and writing it in my achievement book, I learned this word today.
Brilliant.
And then whenever I seen, it just helped. So reading was really good for me, because with the neurodivergent brain, I've got schizophrenic tendencies and with my autism, and sometimes I get quite intense voices. So it's like a way to take me out of my reality and escape. So video games, books, TV shows, all that kind of stuff helps me get out of Chloe
Yeah.
and be me for a while.
Fair. Yeah.
Be authentic
Quite
me and
quite
just
similar
relax.
with the gym.
Yeah.
Like the gym and guitar,
Yeah.
and that's about it. But when I go to the gym, I get to just put my headphones on and
But
think
that's
about
two
nothing
very
else.
different lives.
Yeah.
How in the heck did you two get together?
Don't.
Somebody
when we
goes
come
to gym.
together, we
Yeah,
love
yeah.
TV.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
TV's great.
We go on little date nights as well. So for like last week when Alex passed her exam, I took her to the Montevideo Lights.
Oh, I see that
Here's the-
advertising the way in.
It was beautiful. It was so
Nice.
good. So
Wonderful.
Neurodivergent's heaven when it's just lights and it's
Oh,
dark.
unreal.
Literally, it was
So,
it was great.
things like that we really enjoy, and we went to Dynamic Earth for my
Mm.
birthday.
That's wonderful.
That was
What's
great.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
What's that?
It's like a big science centre
Oh,
in
cool.
Edinburgh,
Yeah.
next to Hollywood.
Oh, earthquake.
Retina place.
Hide under the table.
No, Dynamic Earth is
It's a
amazing.
really
It is
good one,
I've been a few times.
I do feel like though we both kind of switch parts of our brain on and off.
Yeah.
So like I find that even with uni, like when I'm going between different courses, I have to do one and then switch my brain.
Yeah.
But it's like
Mm.
we can both switch our brain back into like, oh, we're chilled now, we're a couple,
Yeah.
made that.
I
Mm.
used to go drives quite a lot as
Yeah.
well, eh?
My
But
car's
now,
broken.
yeah.
How do you cope? Sorry, I'm jumping in again, but how
That's
do you
right.
cope? How did you cope with uni? It's quite
That's a
big-
very good
Not
question.
well.
No?
She's
Not
doing a
well
lot
at
better,
first.
though.
Now I'm okay. I've actually started to operate out of strategy rather than planning, because planning gives me a sense of failure. Actually, if I don't do everything to a T, because I'm quite a perfectionist, if I miss one bit of my plan, that's it. That's my whole day ruined. So more of a strategy that's like, when I stop being able to work on this subject, like it's fine. I used to have planned that I was going to study it for 4 hours and I'd get halfway through and be like, well, I'm not even interested now, like, what's
Yeah.
going on? But my strategy now is like, if I'm not interested, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And if I need a break, I'll go for a break. I'll change room if I'm bored.
Right.
Like, rather than planning in blocks,
Yeah.
which was very stressful for me, I need a strategy, definitely.
Totally get that. You
Yeah.
know, hence why leading on to the self-employed is gives you that your own. Maybe I'll just get you to explain it. What's it like to switch for the university into a self-employed feeling of?
Well,
It is actually
about your
it's a lot more
difference as well between
freeing.
deadlines.
Yeah, even in our deadlines, because it's like that's not mine in McMac, but because what I'm making is mine, and no one else has defined it for me first, but someone has asked me to make my work, and I feel quite proud of doing it. But it's a lot. It's not less stressful than uni. It's just stressful in a different way, where I want to portray myself and my skill well enough, but like in a way that I would buy it. Whereas with uni, I'm like trying to hit marks, and I'm not necessarily thinking about the innate creativity and my essence in it. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking about, I need to get this in for this deadline. I've got these boxes to tick.
Mm.
So when I go into our business, I can put them all kind of into place and be like, these aren't just boxes to tick. These, look, this is this, and I can see it all in real life.
Thing is though, what I've noticed is the difference between your uni is like you get a hypothetical customer, you have to reach their needs. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the world is literally your oyster with McMac. Like
Yeah.
she's so different when she does uni work versus when she does McMac. With McMac, she's quite cheery. She wants to listen to music. She wants me in the room.
This is
There's
counselling.
no
This is
furniture
counselling.
flying. No, I'm
This is
joking.
therapy.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a
100%.
couples session.
Yeah, yeah.
That is what's
Double
kind of
trouble.
stressful though as well, is because I am kind of in business mindset when I'm at uni and I'm like, I should be able to take this over to
Yeah,
McMac.
but this is what I'm saying. So
there
like,
has to be somewhere I meet in the middle between just
yeah.
being a cow business manager
Yeah.
What the thing
and
is,
being a
though, is
creative.
that's what I'm on about. So, like, with the uni, it's so pressurised. It's so strictly managed that if you go out of line a wee bit,
So
even
if I'm
with
1 minute over my deadline, I've got 20% cut off my
no, I
mark.
know. So,
What?
like, even if, but like, say it was like you were colouring in and like you went over the line a tiny bit. With McMac, people will be like, "Oh my god, it's unique." But with uni, it's like that is wrong. It is wrong.
It's a
Redo
fair-
it.
Yeah.
See, that one is like. So I work with a lot of kids and stuff, and when I see kids struggle and adults struggle, and I just go and I say, listen, are you struggling to stay in the lines?
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, regardless of what your teacher said, this is my time, and in here doesn't matter if you stay in the lines.
Yeah.
And I wish I had heard that. Every time somebody
We would lead
mentions staying in
such
the
different
lines-
classes, my friend. Oh my God.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
like you shouldn't be conforming to stay inside the lines. There was never a rule about staying inside the lines. Do you know how, I mean, I'm getting passionate about this 'cause when you said that,
I know, I
that
was just
triggered me.
using it as a metaphor,
It's
but
like-
then it started something.
But it does. It's like, yes, if you want to stay in the lines, that's fine. But
Yeah.
when you're trying to conform, anyway, right.
But it doesn't look right if you go outside the lines. That's the point. Yeah.
But the thing is well, unless you
Most
do
of my
it,
art does.
hey, unless you do
It's
it
taken
all
us
out in
10
lines,
podcasts
it just
to have an
looks like
argument.
a fluffy jumper.
Aye.
It just looks like your fuzzy jumper if you go out lines.
Yes. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
No, but so it's just like that's just like the metaphor. Like, you know, if you go out of
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
criteria,
If you go out of the scope, it
it's
goes
wrong.
100%.
But whereas McMac is built
Yeah.
from what we are,
Yes.
not what we should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're doing something from uni that's what it should be.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
much pressure. So even if you do take the skill sets from that, that's amazing.
So you feel well. I mean, yeah.
She's just so much more relaxed.
No, you with
She's
with
not
uni or
doing it.
college or whatever, like you feel like you have to do it,
Yeah.
whereas you're choosing to do McMac.
Yeah, and even if it is stressful in McMac, so what? It's something that we like want
Well,
to need to
yeah.
do.
What I
Yeah.
quite appreciate right now though is that I'm doing my honours project, which is very
Well done, man.
Yeah.
self-initiated, and I can tie McMac into that
Yes.
because I'm looking at AI versus creativity in the creative workplace, and we obviously don't use that, but
Yeah.
something like 70% of creative professionals use it daily.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But
So
the thing is
there's a
most
lot-
AI. Oh,
I think we'll maybe touch back on the
Oh, we
AI,
definitely
we're kinda
will.
running out of time for
We
this
definitely
part.
will.
I want to end this one on saying that was out of line. Thank you.
And that's why I don't like it.
So we'll see you in part 3.
We'll see you in part 3, folks. All right, welcome back to part 3 of this week's edition of We Speak Tangent. We are still here with McMac Creations, although I do say at every point at part 3 we have been out the room. These people are not here against their will. We've had a coffee. But yes, we are back with McMac Creations. So this study that you're doing with AI versus non-AI.
Yeah, so this is my whole honours project, and initially I was just looking at the next consumer, so like Gen Alpha is the next consumer, but the overwhelmingness of AI in every solution that I came across was just like, I began to realise that everything to capitalise off the next generation within the creative industries is like, you have to fully engross them, and it's like some form of the metaverse, and everything is so online, chronically online, like brain rot, that I just couldn't follow through with it, and I couldn't create a solution that I didn't agree with. So now I'm looking at where AI's place is really in creativity, and using McMac for that. It's quite clear that we don't actually need much AI,
nah.
but
Well, I've never used it in
and,
any of my
um,
things.
in more secondary research of other companies, it's about 70% of creative professionals that use it daily.
It's crazy.
When I've like shadowed people and designers, they use AI, they will chat with ChatGPT for brainstorming, and it just blows my mind because I see a rise in it, and I also see a rise in like convenience type stuff, and like Temu and Shein against creative handmade businesses when they're using AI for their operations, AI for their designs. Nothing's actually designed like originally, it's all just copied. But people don't care because they can get it for
So,
60p because
it
AI
sounds
is
like
efficient, it's
it
faster.
used to be, is it a skill or is it a will? Do you feel that that's robbing that?
Yeah, I feel like any skill that anyone wants to learn can just be filled in with AI.
It really
I
does feel
don't-
like robbery
I
sometimes.
don't think that's true, but
I think
feel
it's
sometimes
becoming
that-
true.
Yeah, I feel sometimes that I've gone to uni for 4 years and got a degree for something that you could ask ChatGPT to do in 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is there no some sort of filter on that? Like,
No, there's not an
nothing-
intelligence filter on AI.
There's nothing currently that says you have to disclose whether it's AI or not, which is
So
terrifying.
I've just done a wee level 3, and if you used AI, it would come up.
Yeah, so...
with uni and stuff, it definitely
Yeah,
flags
with
up.
uni, definitely. But
I don't know
in
if that's
the wider,
ADHD me looking for a shortcut.
in the wider marketplace, it's
Yeah.
hard to tell the difference.
I think I'm not saying we haven't used it, but I use another one. It's not. Is it AI? The one in Grammarly, is that?
Oh, Grammarly, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
I've used that
dyslexic.
for years.
Yeah.
So Grammarly helps me, and I still get it wrong. It's like, but it helps me. I write
There's
books.
there's a lot
I
of
need
pros to it, like Grammarly and Siri and even Alexa are all AI, parking sensors or AI, face IDs, AI. It's
You read
everywhere.
books?
It's everywhere
I
in
read
your
books,
daily
yeah.
life. But I'm more concerned about generative AI and like Adobe Generative Fill and Midjourney, where you can say, oh, I have this idea, and prompt it enough that it'll come up with something that you can present as your own artwork. And Midjourney, Midjourney as an example, will give you the rights to use that artwork to say it's yours.
Am I just being? Have I lived in a different world?
No,
Well,
like,
no.
No, it's just crazy.
Wow,
It's
man.
If you
crazy.
look
It's
into
exploded
it,
in the last
yeah.
few years.
that's
It's
unreal, man.
madness.
Even when you're saying like AI, like parking sensors, I'm like,
Oh, yes.
where's that been, man?
Everywhere.
I know about parking sensors, but it's right. AI.
Well, I mean...
Everything is
As-
artificial intelligence to an extent.
As a lover of technology, there has to be a reason why you can get cars that drive themselves and park themselves. You don't have a sort of person in the boot going left a bit, right a bit. No, like it's all down to AI.
Yeah.
If you look at technology, phones, I mean, the generation is always on their phone, but now it's a part of the phone. Now it's, I mean,
It's
there's...
like literally
Yeah.
the iPhone 16 is
Yes.
the iPhone.
Yes.
Google
It's
Pixel.
insane to me. I
But-
just can't get over
It's
it.
Well, we
mental.
did a focus group as well about
Yes.
it. We had Gen Zs and millennials.
How did that
and
work
They
out?
were
My
all
goodness.
saying, like, we're supposed to be these digital... It was very chaotic.
No.
They were all saying, oh, like, we've grown up with technology and we've grown up with all this stuff and we're being filled.
Because you don't have any skill.
We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Listen, John Connor, we are sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We are sorry. The Terminator is coming.
The thing is, though, right, is that it's like with the whole creative thing as well, is it does feel a wee bit like a robbery because the way that the way that the people like are asking the prompts to do something. Swap what you're doing, message a graphic designer that
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
that
an
can-
industry lost.
Yeah.
Or go to the library. Find it in a wee book.
Aye.
They're closing as well, my friend.
Oh.
Yeah, the death
Well,
of the high
not in your
street.
libraries.
So
I guess
No.
I just feel like they
even,
need
like-
to make more in places. Like libraries could easily have more in them where like just because they need to be quiet doesn't mean they can't have like a board game night or something where they can have people in
It's
the library.
human
like,
interaction.
like I'm sick of all they're being able to do is go to the pub or nothing that's socially acceptable that's not a pub open before 4 p.m. Like I can't find anywhere.
I think I can outdo you there. That it's a different area, but there was a library in Stranraer that resorted to holding rock concerts.
Oh, man.
I just thought that was fabulous. And
Come
I
and get your book.
no, but I literally said to the receptionist, who was Irish, I was like, but isn't the point of the library that you're meant to be quiet? And she looked at me with a straight face and said, oh, no, it's not within opening hours. No, we're opening it again to all the rest. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a different generation.
At least they're open to change.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to take these away a wee bit,
Yeah.
right? So I have loads of questions inside my head, but it's not a show about me. So a question that I normally ask a question for people, and I thought of one in the car for you because I knew you were coming as a couple and
I don't know this question, by the way. This is not scripted.
Space is killing.
I didn't know you how you were quite young. So I'm interested in knowing, you can do it jointly if you want, if there was a theme tune, if there was a song that you could pick from McMac.
How did you get there?
I don't know, it just came when I was
Out of
driving in the
any
car.
song.
What would the theme tune that matches
Great
McMac?
question.
Get your gifts, get your gadgets, and everything in between.
Oh, you're actually selling something? I thought,
No, I don't know.
Put that into AI, it'll be fine.
too late, I'm
I
taking
know.
that. What would represent you? Is that a better way to
Something chaotic.
Chaotic?
Some people think I'm bugging. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Do you know? I don't actually know because
It's a very specific question.
It
I
is.
thought about it this morning. I was like, That's it. That's my question of the day.
I've never actually thought about that. I've always been quite against jingles.
I quite
Well, not a
like.
jingle, just in
No,
any
do
song
you know
that's
what?
out there. So for mine's is
Demi
A Million
Lovato.
Dreams.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why this came out. So I'm 4.5 years sober and clean, and that was the song that I heard, and it was A Million Dreams, and like you said, the colours inside my head and all that, and I've picked a big house. I'm not materialistic, but everything in there was how it inspired me to start my own business. So I'm always intrigued when I meet fellow entrepreneur neurodivergents, especially ones that are so young, what the song would be, or a question that would just be suiting to use, and that's the one that I went for. It's maybe a to be continued question. If you
That
can
might
answer it
have
straight
to
away.
be a to be continued. Although, what song springs to mind is Confident by Demi Lovato.
Mine was Stronger by Kanye West.
Oh
Similar
man,
vibe.
we've got a double here. We'll maybe ChatGPT can mix it up for us a wee bit.
No, but I can.
But I think it's just like for the questions I ask, as Michael discovered a couple of episodes, I'm a deep thinker.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, on the outside, I'm this overly confident, but on the inside, I'm all about smells, I'm all about body language, I'm all about how, even as we're now in the last bit, everybody's more relaxed, everybody's so, it's like it's going to be an open thing, because I'd like to get in touch with you, invite you out for a coffee, but see how you in the outside part of the world.
Do you find that's a neurodivergent thing as well? Always reading behind people's body language.
Oh,
always
totally.
reading behind. It's
I can't help myself.
exhausting.
I thought I was judging.
I don't. No,
Yeah.
see, I don't think. No, here's the thing. Here's where we disagree. Say, I don't think it's a neurodivergent thing.
Do you know what?
I don't. I think it could be a diversion thing. It could just be a way of. I have to remember I'm being recorded, so I can't say what I was going to say there. Which that there must be more to you than this. But no, I think it's human nature.
Yeah.
I think that people will study something in their lifetime, but I mean I see why people could see it as a neurodivergent thing, because it's a way to try and.
We're definitely
I
more
think
inclined to.
the intensity of it and the persistence of it throughout a conversation. Like maybe if you meet someone and you introduce yourself and you're like, oh, I wonder what they're thinking of me, I wonder what that first impression was. But
that's exactly how
the
it is.
whole way through having a conversation, I'm like, well, they said two words differently in a different tone. So what does that actually mean? And
I've said
you're
that.
sitting with my legs crossed towards me, but does that mean that you're talking to me or that you're interested in me? And I'm like always scanning.
I never get that.
I'm always scanning.
I'm
I feel
just-
like it's
Although
exhausting.
if I meet up with you 6 months later and you change 2 parts of that story, I'm on to you. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on a minute
I'm
here.
like,
man.
wait, let me check my
No.
receipts.
Yes.
Genuinely, this makes me
Yes.
so paranoid. So I have the worst memory in
Yeah.
the world. I can tell a story from the start to the end, right? Next time I tell that story, I could
Add a bit.
say it shorter, but I'll remember another detail.
But that's
so I
comedy.
add that in, and then if someone's in the room, they're like, that's not happened last time. I'm like, well, it is, I just forgot to mention
No,
it.
but that's framing.
What?
That is framing. That could be a bad memory, or that could be a perfect comedy. Because you're changing something to keep yourself interested,
Yeah.
even if you don't remember it.
See,
Yeah,
I
it's
was
that
being
thing.
quite bad there because I was really just talking about non-neurodivergence, and I was
No.
when they tell a story, and I'm not singing about it, but when they tell a story, I'm like, oh, well, you added that
Did you,
back in,
aye?
and you know, and like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yes.
did you, aye? And I'm like, right, stop it, James, are you judging?
I
And
know.
you just said
Aye.
that, and I'm like, I'm not judging, it's just part of my programming.
No, I do find it quite difficult to have conversations with
code.
non-neurodivergent people because there's also a lot of just the different structure of the conversations where you'll say, oh, hiya, and they're like, hiya, and you have to ask. And then you're like, oh,
Rachel
how
says
was,
that,
how was
doesn't
your
she?
weekend? And they're like,
Yeah.
good. And you have to say, oh, okay, what did you do?
Yeah,
but
you have
if
to
you're
force it
neurodivergent,
out.
you're like, okay, so I did this,
Aye,
and I know
aye,
that
aye.
you did this before, but I did this, and it was so similar, and you just start telling everything, but you have to, there's so much
Nobody
effort.
It's
teaches
also,
you that.
it's also so hard not to just talk about yourself, and I know that sounds really bad, but I mean in the way that's like, because I don't know how to initiate a conversation, I'm better with answering. So I start conversations with something about me so that they can feel like they can connect with me. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, instead of me initiating the conversation by being like, so what did you do this weekend? I'll be like, you'll never guess what happened at the weekend. And I hope that they, in response, tell me what they done.
But see, when you're
Because
initiating that,
Yeah.
is that the bit when you go home and you're like, I have oh, she had.
Yeah.
That's it, I'm with you, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I actually
I'll
say
drive back
there?
in the
'Cause it
car
was
and
a
I will
blur.
only compliment myself. That's a great question, James. I was like, oh, sure, I'm downloading everything. And then I'm like, ChatGPT, delete my brain.
No, but that
Erase
is
my
a
memory.
Yeah, that is a
Do you know
neurodivergent
what?
thing.
These podcasts, I love being a neurodivergent. I have never
I'm
embraced
questioning
this
it.
as much in my entire existence until I started doing this. This
Yeah.
guy that you see before you isn't the same guy that was so many podcasts ago before I met everybody. I was out in the wild. I was in the denial. I was in like nothing wrong with me. So see when you're saying these things, even
Yeah.
about how your business existed, that's the inspiration that any young neurodivergent entrepreneur needs to hear. I'm proud to just have these here sitting next
Thank
to us,
you.
man.
It's
like
hard
a nice
to
feeling.
just be neurodivergent as well.
It is,
Even when
yeah.
I'm applying for other jobs, they're like, do you need any reasonable adjustments? I'm like, no.
Aye.
I know,
No,
it's
not at
so
all, I'm not different.
That's
hard
a
to-
very common. No,
Yeah.
It's difficult to admit to it.
Yeah,
Like,
I was very
because it makes you
ashamed.
feel inferior. It makes you feel incapable. It makes you feel like you're always watched. Like
Yeah.
Well, 'cause what
everyone's
other people
watching
are
for
gonna
some
think
meltdown
is,
to happen.
oh, like,
other people
oh,
don't know.
She does need
That's-
reasonable adjustments. We're
Another
not going
human
to put
said
money
to me
into
the
that.
other
Like,
day was, oh, don't eat that. You know, you don't want to trigger your... And obviously autistic face is like, as if I just shot her. What do you mean? Trigger what? How do you know what? And then 50 miles an
I
hour.
know.
Anyway, I still ate it.
No.
It's
You know what I mean? It's like, people should...
lack
so if
of
we're
filter
saying-
as well,
Aye.
yeah. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
But
And we
it
do
feels more
silly
normal
things.
when we're with other neurodivergent people, definitely.
That's good.
So I'm going to ask you another question, right? Again,
Yeah.
I knew I had a couple in my head. If you had a message to say to somebody who's a neurodivergent entrepreneur that has yet to find the field of want to do something that they do, but really like doing something creative or want to do their own, what's the message you would give them?
My thing isn't creative focused,
Sorry?
but I have something. So I thought of this thing a wee while ago that was, I felt like the world was against me.
Common.
So I changed that by saying I'm here to change the world, not for the world to change me. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be some big politician or Barack Obama next. Like, I'm not planning on any of that. I just want to make the world a better place for at least a handful of people. Or at least for myself. So the nicest thing you can do is just look after yourself and be kind. And if you want it, if you look after yourself, you'll get it. Like, you'll get there, but only if you put you first.
That's
Yeah.
kind of similar as what I was going to say. I would just say place importance on yourself and your own work, place value in your own work, because it can be really hard to be making things and comparing them to other people and being like, it's just not...
Yeah.
Especially with art, when
Yeah.
the world's very focused on realism as well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really difficult to make something quite that perfect and do it in enough time to make a profit, but that people will also buy it. So I think I would say just throw away what everyone else is doing and put value in yourself and back yourself.
Be heard, be strong, be proud.
I like that. In
A very young person answer again. Yeah.
In a world
Yeah.
where everybody else is taken, just be yourself.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah, literally just be you.
You're like, what's
That
the
is
unique
all-
selling point? It's me.
Yeah.
I made this. That is the best selling. I made this.
Yeah, I
And
made
that
this
is-
with my bare hands, and they're like,
Why you not
"Aye,
buying it? I made
could,
that.
I could get it for £1.50 on Team Noodles."
Okay. Well, I think, as we always say to all the guests, I think that if we were to do this again in 6 months, perhaps you'd be at a different stage, and it's good. I think.
Be down.
Yeah, I think that I always say at every podcast that if people haven't learned from this, then they need to listen to something a bit less audio intensive. But I
Definitely
think.
a high five moment, man.
Yeah,
That's
I think so.
Leave me hanging, Michael. Come
okay,
on.
Sorry, there you go. There we go.
Passing it in between.
Awkward. No. But I think I think this particular one is you are listening to and seeing young business in action. But there is so much to do,
Yeah.
God, yeah.
and you have the skill set to do it. It's just the right time and finding what the next stage is.
Yeah.
Nobody gives you a manual for life. You just go, and it'll probably change by the time you get to it.
Do you feel like one of the only ones that didn't get a manual for life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, mine was lost as well.
So yeah, and I think as we have said to you openly, there are a lot of people that watch this podcast, but also we are sitting in a SOSO building, which means that the wonderful people at SOSO will watch this and go, how can we help? I mean, it's all there for you, Mary. So,
and they have done a lot for us, and we're very thankful.
Yeah.
and they could also do a lot more.
Oh, that's what we were talking about in the break. Is
Yes.
that we don't know how to ask for help, and also it's like I feel guilty that we've already had so much already help that it feels a bit difficult to.
Well, don't feel guilty.
Right.
I think
Don't.
I think
Yeah.
you're at a point where you want to grow as you
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grow as you go is where
It's
you
also
are.
quite
So,
difficult to speak to people as a business, but also as a neurodivergent. Like
But as
trying
a-
to get that business voice, but
and
also
that's
being
why-
like, I'm nervous.
and that's why you use a partner, join the Neurodivergent Entrepreneur Network,
Yeah.
and also probably join on Kat's. She does the
Yeah.
what we call it, partnership.
The peer-to-peer mentoring.
Peer-to-peer, sorry.
Yeah,
yeah.
Get on that and
Yeah.
listen to some of the guys that are on there. It's important that we learn for you as well as
Yeah.
us learn for other neurodivergent
Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
100%.
Great. Okay, so if there is any more, I think we have went to perfect time, and maybe slightly over, but I think it was necessary because, again, people who've watched and learned and listened. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
Hopefully,
having us.
Thanks for your time.
thank
it's been
you.
great.
Hopefully, we'll see you again in, I don't know, we always
Yeah.
invite all the guests back, but I think
Amazing.
it's important to chronicle the journey.
Yeah.
And everything we've discussed will be, and all the links to your business as well, will be in the show notes on the socials somewhere. I'm just reading a card. There will be somewhere. But for now, at least, thank you so much for being here with us. We will see you next time around. But for now, I've been Michael.
I've been James.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the We Speak Tangent podcast, brought to you by the Neurodivergent Entrepreneurs Network in partnership with South of Scotland Enterprise.